The restaurant was glowing in soft amber light, filled with the low hum of chatter, laughter, and the clinking of glasses. It was a Friday evening, the busiest night of the week at the Ember Lounge, an upscale restaurant where elegance met exhaustion for the staff. But for Maya Khan, tonight wasn't just another long shift. It was the night that could change or end her life. She had worked there for 3 years, serving hundreds of faces she'd forget by morning. But tonight, the face sitting at table 7 was one she could never forget. He was Arav Rehman, the CEO of Rehman International, a man whose name filled newspapers and stock charts. To most, he was a powerful businessman. To her, he was an innocent man walking straight into a trap. Because the glass of red wine placed before him, the one poured by the restaurant's manager, not her, wasn't just expensive, it was poisoned. The hook that changed everything. Maya's hands trembled as she set down the appetizer. Her throat tightened, her heart thudding so loud she could almost hear it echoing through the polished floors. She bent slightly closer to him, pretending to adjust the napkin. With her free hand, she slipped a small folded note beneath his plate. It read, "Don't drink it, leave now." For a few seconds, she prayed he'd notice it, but when his fingers brushed the edge of the note, and he looked up at her, confusion mixed with curiosity, she froze. Arav unfolded the note quietly, his brow furrowing as he read. His eyes darted from the glass to her trembling face. "Why?" he whispered, just loud enough for her to hear. Before she could answer, their manager, Mr. Samir Malik, approached the table, smiling with the fake charm only the guilty carry. "Is everything all right, sir?" Maya forced a smile. "Yes, sir, the guest was just asking about the dessert menu." Samir's eyes narrowed. He lingered for a second too long before walking away. Arav looked back at Maya, his voice low. "Tell me what's going on." She leaned in. "Please, sir, just get up and go. Don't make it obvious. Your drink, it's not safe." He studied her face. The fear in her eyes was too real to fake. Then, without another word, Arav did something unexpected. He grabbed her hand and softly said, "Then you're coming with me." The escape. They walked out together, pretending to be calm, two people who looked like they were just finishing a quiet dinner, but Maya could feel eyes burning into her back. The moment they stepped outside, Arav's driver opened the car door. He turned to her. "Get in." "I can't if Samir finds out." "Then he'll make sure you never talk again," Arav interrupted sharply. "You just saved my life, you're coming." Maya hesitated, then got in. As the car pulled away, she saw Samir rush outside, looking around wildly. The truth behind the trap. Arav's penthouse overlooked the city, a place of glass and silence, but the air inside was thick with tension. "Now talk," he said, turning to her. Maya took a deep breath. 2 weeks ago, I overheard Samir on a call. He said someone was paying him to take care of a guest. I didn't know who. Then I saw your name on the reservation list. Arav frowned. "Who's behind it?" "I don't know, but they mentioned the merger, said you were standing in their way." He paced the floor, connecting dots in his mind. His company had been planning a billion-dollar merger that would threaten a few powerful rivals. Someone wanted him out of the picture, permanently. But what shocked him wasn't just the betrayal. It was the courage of the waitress who chose to risk everything to save him. The retaliation. The next morning, the news broke. Attempted poisoning at the Ember Lounge, restaurant under investigation. Samir was gone, vanished before police could question him. Maya was suspended for breach of protocol, but Arav made sure she wasn't silenced. He sent his lawyers, ensured her protection, and quietly began an internal investigation. But what neither of them expected was how their lives would intertwine beyond that night. New beginnings. Weeks turned into months. Arav's case exposed a powerful network of corruption, and Maya became an unexpected key witness. Every time they met to discuss updates, their conversations grew warmer. She had once been a waitress serving his table, now she was someone he trusted completely. One evening, as they stood by his office window overlooking the glowing skyline, Arav said softly, "You changed everything that night." Maya smiled faintly. "I only did what was right." He looked at her for a long moment. Sometimes, doing what's right is the hardest thing in the world. Their connection grew out of gratitude, then friendship, and eventually something neither of them dared to name aloud. The challenge they faced. But life wasn't kind for long. Samir resurfaced, this time with men who wanted Maya silenced before she could testify. Arav's security team found a message left outside his gate. Drop the case or lose the girl. For the first time, Arav, a man who had faced boardrooms full of enemies, felt helpless. He wasn't fighting for money or power anymore. He was fighting for someone who reminded him what humanity still looked like. The rescue. When Maya was kidnapped 2 nights before the trial, Arav didn't wait for police delays. He used every contact, every resource to find her. They traced her to an abandoned factory on the city's edge. Arav personally went with the rescue team, unarmed but determined. When they broke in, she was tied to a chair, bruised but unbroken. Her eyes widened when she saw him. "I told you to stay safe," she whispered, tears glistening. "And I told you," he said, breaking the ropes. "We're in this together." They escaped that night, bruised, bleeding, but alive. The aftermath. The next morning, the headline read: CEO risks life to save Waitress who exposed corporate crime. Samir and his backers were arrested. The merger was completed, cleanly this time, and Maya. Arav made sure her life was rebuilt from ashes. He offered her a position in his foundation, one that helped women from exploited jobs find education and stability. But Maya refused to take the easy way. "I don't want charity, sir," she said, "just a chance." He smiled, "Then earn it as my assistant." That was how a waitress became the right hand of one of the most powerful men in the city, not because of wealth or beauty, but because of courage. The ending that inspired millions. Years later, as Arav stood at a charity gala with Maya beside him, now confident, smiling and full of life, a reporter asked, "Mr. Rahman, is it true the woman beside you once saved your life?" He looked at her, eyes warm. "No," he said, "she didn't just save my life, she gave it meaning." Maya's heart swelled as applause filled the hall. And in that moment, she realized, sometimes fate brings people together not to change each other's stories, but to write a new one entirely.